All right. Welcome back, patrons. I know it's been a minute. Thank you guys for being as understanding as you have been. This last couple of 3 months, guys, has been. I mean, you've seen the channel, you've seen the views, you've seen World Star Hip Hop and Media Takeout, and now Black YouTube is losing their mind. And thank you, just thank you. But here's what I really want to talk about. Guys, I'm no different than you. I mean, really, I am no different than I was born single mother. I wasn't playing. My dad got 13 children, you know. Um, I don't, I know most of my brothers and sisters, but I mean, other than knowing them, I mean, it's not like we are brother and sister. I mean, the only thing I've ever had control over when I was a kid is my performance in school. That's the truth. Um, the projects in Oklahoma City, regardless if they were the Cabrini Green or you know bad projects in big cities, they were crappy. And you know, my family was a religious family, and they did the best they could. And my family gave me a strong sense of pride because you know one thing that they made sure that they put me in a school that was going to be consistent. And I was in one school from first grade through 12th grade, and I looked at school as the way out. That's what I kept hearing. Make good grades in school. But like anybody else, making good grades in school um, and staying out of as much trouble as possible. I wasn't in trouble in school, but when I became a young adult, that's when all the issues started happening. The same things you hear a lot of guys on YouTube and other places, loss of direction, not knowing where to go. But I always realized, I always knew one thing, that I am willing to work. You know, my the first job you're supposed to be able to get, you're supposed to be able to get a job at 16 years old. I went to work early. I went to work at a place called Shotgun Sam's Pizza. And the only job I was qualified for at 14 and a half years old was washing dishes. Now, back in the 80s, my hair was long. If you can imagine Michael Jackson length hair, yeah, I mean, that was back in the days of the curls and all that stuff. And in order to take this job, washing dishes for $3.35 an hour, I had to cut my long, luxurious curls to here. Back in the 80s, that was a big deal. To wash dishes. But see, one of my mother said, you know, I always knew I had a good son, but when you wanted to go to work to make some money, because money was control. Money, you know, you don't pay no bills around here. You want to pay some, you want to, because, you know, I was never a bad kid, but the point of the matter is, I always felt like I needed to do more. And I wanted to prove people wrong. Like, yeah, you're a good looking guy. That means you're soft. Man, forget that. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about becoming a high value man yourself is a choice. And it starts from abject failure most of the time. I mean, real failure. You flunked out of college, or you've been fired from a job, and or you've been divorced, or you had a bankruptcy or repossession. You had drinking issues, whatever. People like to keep you stuck where they remember you. And one of the best things about being a high value man is in a few years, you can take yourself from being here, and 5 years or 6 years later, you could be a completely different place. And that's what makes so many guys upset about this, is because it shows them what they're willing to do with time. Here's some of the facts. I got the IV, the increased value movement, but now you're gonna hear me talk about facts. First off, it starts from being a failure. Either you had failure or you're going to have to try a lot of things and fail. Step to a woman, get rejected, failure. Move to a new city, doesn't work out, failure. Try a business, doesn't work, failure. Failure, 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 failure. You're going to have failures all across your resume. But every great man has failures. I mean, your president's failure. Abraham Lincoln, failure. Every great man has to fail. That's the only way you get any better because no one gives it to you. Failure. And that comes from either bad choices, bad decisions, or maybe even the right choice in the wrong way. But don't let people who want to keep bringing up your failures, your past, things like that, keep you stuck. You know, being a high value man has very much a phoenix like effect. Out of the ashes, you're born anew. And the failure is the price of admission. The next part of it is action. You know, confident, intelligent, and assertive. Man, we're men of action. Meaning, I'm watching Captain America right there. And one of the things I loved about the Captain America character is Steve Rogers was a man of action. He stepped into places. You know, he was not the most gifted, the most talented. He just worked harder. And men of action understand that you're going to fail because you try. So if you're not okay with people bringing up your failures, your problems, your circumstances as a way to kind of to delegitimize you or keep you stuck being average with them, that's going to be a stumbling block. And here's the thing: but if you're a man of action, you're used to this. You got to get to the point where you act. Acting in assertiveness, moving, doing something is always so important. So the F and the A. The next thing, the C, man, you have to change. You got to change and you got to challenge yourself. Change or challenge, either one. Change is going to be necessary. So many times people don't want to change the city they live in, change jobs, change houses, change cars, change girlfriends. I mean, change degree. I've talked to guys who I've told you a communications major, man, quit that and go get a real degree. Change. This is one of my secret weapons. I am not afraid to change. I am not afraid to stop and do something that works. I mean, look here on Black YouTube. I do what works. And a lot of guys are pissed off because they refuse to change. Even if they know it's going to have a better outcome. But what about changing when you don't know? But see, if you can become fearless and not afraid of failure, and you can become assertive and take action, then you can challenge yourself to change. See, all these things have different meanings at any time. And then the T, the time. Time. You gotta give yourself time. It's not overnight. Anything that's worth having, you're gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to put some work into it. Effort, patience, wanting something immediate. You want microwave success. Well, guess what? Three Little Pigs. It's quicker to build a house with straw, but that time factor. That's why I like wearing a watch, a substantial watch, because it's not about function as much as it's a reminder. And yes, we're going to get much more back into the men's style and things like that. We're going to be talking about more things other than fragrance, and watch is a big part of it. Watches, I'm beginning to start getting into it. For the engineering thing of it, the art of it, and everything else. But time it's the most valuable thing we have. And another way for T is, you got to be tenacious. Time and tenacity separate the pretenders from the contenders. Time and tenacity. Tenacity. You got to go after something and you got to stick to it. You got to lock on like a pit bull. You got to hold on to the mindset that this is just temporary. When you're going through the shitty parts, when you're doing the shit jobs and having to sit listen to people that you don't. There's a lot of these got to be tenacious, man. And you got to remember that it's a short time, not a long time. And next thing you know, you will look up, if you do these things, you keep these facts in your mind, what happens? Inevitably, you improve. You improve. And the improvement is like inertia. Overnight stars are 10 years in the making. Inertia. It's hardest to get something moving. But when it's moving, all you got to do is maintain momentum. Cyclists understand this. Sisyphus damn sure understood it. But guys, high value. Ask yourself, where are you in this pushing of the stone? Are you right here where the stone is completely at rest? Or have you got it kind of up off its axis? Or are you starting to get some motion? And when it starts to move, you don't stop. Because you don't stop pushing, because when it starts to move, if you stop, it'll fall to rest again. But if you continue to push till it gains momentum, next thing you know, the stone is moving things out of your path, and your path is clear. Again, that's the facts of it, baby. Just the facts. Facts, and the whole thing about increasing your value is like a phoenix, man. You may crash and burn, fall completely apart, but in a short period of time, you could be a new creature. Understand that, guys. You can determine whether or not you become the first person in your family, your community, whatever, to take yourself to the next level, and do it for you. And these same things hold for my female followers and subscribers and patrons too. Facts are the facts for everybody. And the fact of it is, those who are not willing to do the work don't deserve the reward. You do. Till the next time, talk to you later. Thank you guys for being so patient. We'll get the live stream started back, but you'll be getting more Patreon videos like this and more. Peace out.